Tolstoy was definitely reading Bhagavad-Gītā and Upanishads. He definitely had a lot of a bhakti kind of leanings in his realizations about life. And when I read this, I'm here in Bhagavad-Gītā, like sixth chapter. This is something I always like to read and discuss. If we go to the sixth chapter, it talks about the state of awareness that one can achieve through yoga, and it says that that this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. Okay, Pierre had been living in this world where he said he was trying to find happiness in life by achieving certain goals, right? What to speak of just like the kind of decadence that was involved in that world. But he discovered through this man that happiness is something that actually lies within the self. And when you find that, then the external circumstances don't matter. So again, this reads, this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses, and established thus. If you could achieve this state of consciousness, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, they think there's no greater gain, right? I don't need to gain anything else external. Everything that I need, I've gained the greatest thing. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Now this peasant slave or prisoner, he's being marched around. Eventually what happens is he just can't keep up with the marching anymore, and they just shoot him. But he was like kind of okay with, like he was just he had achieved some kind of state. It said in the beginning of what we were reading. Let me go back. That though one of the most insignificant of prisoners, right? It wasn't like he was planning some escape. It wasn't like he was some particularly influential person. He was just like a peasant kind of person. Karataev was to Pierre the personification of all. He gets a little artistic there, but it says, in the very qualities that seem least important, right? His indifference to everything. In other words, he had this contentment in it, right? His submissiveness, okay. His simplicity and his joyful acceptance of life. Pierre saw the whole meaning of life and its source and the source of its joys. That within my heart, there's my connection to God. That I'm eternal. And it was talking about how, like, he understands that life is always shifting, life is moving, and that's the hand of God, right? Life is everything. Life is God. Everything changes and moves, and that movement is God. And while there is life, there is joy in the consciousness of the divine, right? It doesn't matter how the external things move. If I have that connection, and Bhagavad-Gītā is speaking all about this, right? Even you're in a war, Arjuna, mamanu smara yudhyacha, think of me while you're fighting, and you can be in a state of awareness that's beyond the shifting of this world.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a Bhakti Yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. It's episode 1665. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Prabhu?
I'm doing okay. How about you, Raghunath?
Doing pretty good. Had a good day yesterday. Had a father and son day with Rocco. Went for a hike.
Okay.
Nice.
Very good.
What else we do?
How's things over there for Mara?
They're going well. Happy to have Katie here. A little sad that she'll be leaving us tomorrow morning. But
Katie's leaving.
Back to Virginia?
Yeah. Back to Virginia.
Okay. Oh, it's a mellow morning around here, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's a little mellow.
Just a little bit.
Mellow.
See if it stays that way.
It's got that fall feeling in the air.
Got that fall feeling in the air,
Not
Kaustubha.
down here. Well, you know what is here in the
can't
city
do it.
is that September feeling. It's like the perfect weather. Every day is like not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful. Just like really nice.
Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream.
What song is that?
I'm on the
I'm on
top of the world. Don't get me going. I'll give you all the verses.
You see, you got
That's
to
one
know
of
how to
the-
just.
That's one of the songs I have every lyric memorized too.
All right. Why don't we
You know what's
just-
interesting? When I was growing up, we used to sing songs like that before school started. Like
Really?
it was part of our morning
how
Pledge
quaint.
Allegiance. I'm on the top of the world.
Really? Like this in the classroom, you'd all get
In the
together?
classroom, when we sang, I'm on the top of the world. I mean, we did all God Bless America. We did all the nationalistic
okay.
songs, Pledge
That's where you
Allegiance.
got
and then
into this idea you like to sing together with people.
singing in the morning is powerful. Powerful. If that's what we can offer people with our religion, then it's good. Wake up early, sing songs.
All right.
That alone can make life happier.
No doubt. I suppose that's why they did it in your school.
It worked. Nowadays, they'd be fighting. Well, why this song? Why not? They'd bring on some Slayer.
Top
or
of the
something.
world is like racist or something. Is that what you're saying?
maybe.
Okay.
Top
The
of the
song is
world if
racist.
you're a white colonist.
Everyone else is at the bottom.
Okay. Let's
All right.
go to announcements quick.
No show tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
We'll be back on Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay. Now there's
Um,
another. Yeah, go ahead, Mary. You continue.
What else, Mara?
Well, people can still sign up for our autumn retreat at Super Soul Farm, October 10th through 13th, where we'll also be celebrating Grandma Terry's 99th birthday.
That's
Yeah.
a big one.
Yeah.
Big one.
So
Special festivities for that.
We're gonna have a big fire for her.
no,
bonfire.
no fires
Big
allowed.
bonfire.
We won't even have candles at her birthday cake.
Yeah.
Uh,
Electric candles. for
99. That's a
Grandma
lot
Terry.
of them.
It's a lot of candles.
too many for Grandma Terry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Raghunath,
Autumn is wonderful.
You about to give a bunch of announcements, Raghunath?
Well, I know that Bhakti Recovery's got a live retreat. You're supposed to post the link on the board right
A
after
live
this.
retreat?
Well, it's
It's a meeting
It's a
that's
meeting
for us.
No, isn't it?
No, they sent us the link for the meeting. That's like a private meeting.
Oh, just a reminder, we have a
See,
meeting
Raghunath
today.
is trying to-
But if people want to join the Bhakti
you wanna
Recovery group
join-
meetings, you can go to bhaktirecoverygroup.com and click on online.
Well,
meeting.
look how this reads. It's
No,
like
don't- let's not. Raghunath.
It always
let's not get
says
sidetracked.
just a reminder that we have a meeting today after the Wisdom of Sages podcast. Please post the link.
yeah, Jivo was telling Dominica to please post the
I didn't know it was
link within the private thread.
Sorry about that.
No
Do
problem.
not-
But there is another announcement to make is the Budget Purnima is this Sunday.
Ah,
That is the day, according to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that if you give it as a gift, it's like you get it all. Like it's just like this special thing, Raghunath. You should be all over this.
I am.
Okay.
Do I have to share everything I'm all over? Can I keep any of
No.
my part of my life private?
You see, Mary? You see?
triggered.
Triggered. You do whatever you want. Keep it private. Whatever you want. That's okay with me. But this is an opportunity to give a set of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or to receive a set.
Hmm.
You can just get one.
Okay.
It's a big, beautiful set of colorful books that are just like, that will just change your life. So this is what you do, okay? If you would like to give a set costs $250.
Okay.
Now, you call Malini. She's wonderful. And you call her at this number, 669, or if you want to do it on WhatsApp, +1 669 289 5563. I repeat, +1 669 289 5563. And you tell them, hey, I'm from Wisdom of the Sages, and I want to participate in the Budget Purnima by donating a set, which costs $250. Or I would like to receive a set. And you just tell her, oh, okay, well, we'll make sure one gets to you. And then you give them your address. Or you might say, I want to give a set, but I want to give it to a Wisdom of the Sages listener. Can you give me the list? And then she'll say, oh, sure, let's see. We got these different people. Or you say, I want to give it to a friend. Or maybe you say, I want it placed in a prison so prisoners can read it. Or I want to send it to a hospital. Or they'll give you all these different options too. So it's just it's a great opportunity on all levels to give, to receive. People are asking about Europe. Give her a call. That I think some European sets have been worked out in the past. I'm not positive about that. All right, and that's Sunday is the day, Bhadra Purnima, the big day, the full moon in the month of Bhadra. So please participate.
All right.
All right.
We can also link Malini's info in the show notes as well.
We'll put it there. And one last thing is this Friday night, 5:30 p.m. till 7, I'll be having the Chaitanya Charitamrita reading for all Sage platform members, Sage Community Platform members. So you go to Sage Community Platform, you go to announcements, and you're going to find the link right there. It's a Zoom meeting. You come on in. We read the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita together. It's been a lot of fun so far.
And we are doing Sweet Baby Krishna tonight.
Tonight.
Right? 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Raghunath, that was that competition. Well, I'm doing Sweet Baby. And Mayor's like, what? Doing 2 of them tonight.
It wasn't, but we're reading anyway. So why not just
let people in?
click on Zoom and let people in?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
It's done.
All right, ready to get into this nugget?
I was hoping that Raghunath is really going to enjoy this nugget today.
I always enjoy the nuggets.
Okay. But this one is a little bit more fluffed out.
Today's nugget, all right, you're reading the nugget.
Today's nugget. I gotta sneeze. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Today's nugget is a series of passages from Tolstoy's War and Peace.
We've been talking about that.
Yeah, where Pierre, the realizations he gained through the blessing of the association of a sadhu in the form of the peasant soldier, Platon Karataev.
Karataev. Yeah. So I can just say briefly
Sure.
that Pierre is kind of the protagonist in the whole story. He wasn't the son of this man, but he kind of got adopted by this man, and everyone was plotting. The man was about to die, and everyone was plotting to try to get his money, and he gave it all to this person that wasn't actually even really his son. It was kind of his adopted son or something. I forget exact details, but suddenly he became fabulously wealthy. But he was kind of a simple-hearted guy, a little bit, he needed some work for sure, but he was good. And he goes through all kinds of ups and downs in that aristocratic world. And towards the end, he goes to the war, to the front lines where, Napoleon and his armies were attacking Russia. And he was just trying to help and trying to experience what it was like, what these people are going through. Then also when the Russians came into the city, he started just trying to help in any way that he could. He was saving babies from fires. He was doing all this kind of stuff. And some French soldiers were mistreating some prisoners, and he got involved, and then they took him as a prisoner. And they were just like marching him off, and he was really suffering. But he met this other prisoner who was like a sadhu. And he was really impressed by him, and he really evolved through this person's association. So some of what he gained from him, he's going to share here through these excerpts.
Okay, so he writes, though one of the most insignificant of the prisoners, Karataev was to Pierre the personification of all men, of Russia, of all that is kind and round. In the very qualities that seemed least important, his indifference to everything, his submissiveness, his simplicity, and his joyful acceptance of life, Pierre saw the whole meaning of life and the source of its joys. The next one is, Pierre, for the first time, grasped the whole meaning of life, not with his intellect, but with his whole being. He understood that man is created for happiness, and that happiness is within him, in the satisfaction of simple human needs, and that all unhappiness arises not from deprivation, but from extravagance. Pierre felt like a man who, after straining his eyes to see into the far distance, finds what he sought at his very feet. Life is everything, life is God, everything changes and moves, and that movement is God. And while there is life, there is joy in the consciousness of the divine. To love life is to love God.
Okay.
He had learned to see the great, the infinite, the eternal in everything, and therefore to see it ever more and more fully, had learned to rejoice in life.
Okay.
Formerly, he had sought it in aims he had set before himself that had led him to despair, but now he experienced a joyful consciousness that he could never be deprived of.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone had told him that he should again go through the hardships of captivity and afterward have the same experiences, Pierre would have called that man his enemy. But now, looking back at that time, he found it difficult to recall and understand all that he had then suffered. And he would have been unable to explain the joys that he had experienced in that new life and the strength of spirit he had acquired, had he not been through all that suffering.
Okay, a lot to work with there. Thoughts.
What do you want to go first?
If you like. I mean, Tolstoy was definitely reading Bhagavad-Gītā and Upanishads. He definitely had a lot of bhakti kind of leanings in his realizations about life. And when I read this, I'm here in Bhagavad-Gītā, like 6th chapter. This is something I always like to read and discuss. If we go to the 6th chapter, it talks about the state of awareness that one can achieve through yoga. And it says that that this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. Okay, Pierre had been living in this world where he said he was trying to find happiness in life by achieving certain goals, right? What to speak of just like the kind of decadence that was involved in that world. But he discovered through this man that happiness is something that actually lies within the self. And when you find that, then the external circumstances don't matter. So again, this reads, this perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses, and established thus. If you could achieve this state of consciousness, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, they think there's no greater gain, right? I don't need to gain anything else external. Everything that I need, I've gained the greatest thing. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. Now this peasant slave or prisoner, he's being marched around. Eventually what happens is he just can't keep up with the marching anymore, and they just shoot him. But he was like kind of okay with, like he was just he had achieved some kind of state. It said in the beginning of what we were reading. Let me go back. That though one of the most insignificant of prisoners, right? It wasn't like he was planning some escape. It wasn't like he was some particularly influential person. He was just like a peasant kind of person. Karataev was to Pierre the personification of all. He gets a little artistic there, but it says, in the very qualities that seem least important, right? His indifference to everything. In other words, he had this contentment in it, right? His submissiveness, okay. His simplicity and his joyful acceptance of life. Pierre saw the whole meaning of life and its source and the source of its joys. That within my heart, there's my connection to God. That I'm eternal. And it was talking about how, like, he understands that life is always shifting, life is moving, and that's the hand of God, right? Life is everything. Life is God. Everything changes and moves, and that movement is God. And while there is life, there is joy in the consciousness of the divine, right? It doesn't matter how the external things move. If I have that connection, and Bhagavad-Gītā is speaking all about this, right? Even you're in a war, Arjuna, mamanu smara yudhyacha, think of me while you're fighting, and you can be in a state of awareness that's beyond the shifting of this world. And so after struggling in so many ways, Pierre kind of like, he had the raw material, like he had the frustration with material life clear in his mind. He had been offered all kinds of enjoyments and possibilities for luxuries and other types of enjoyments. And he actually tried all that and found that it didn't deliver happiness. So he was ripe for spiritual life. But when he met this, and this is so much of the important thing, when you meet someone with deep spiritual life that's living it, that connection with the devotee can change everything. That connection with the deeply spiritual person can awaken. It took him from his from that state where he was ready for it, but he needed someone in his life to kind of show it. And through this prisoner, he learned it. And then afterward, because they suffered intensely as prisoners, and then eventually he was freed. And afterward, like in that final paragraph, it was saying, like, if someone would say, oh, you should go through those hardships again, he would have thought they were there. Why would you condemn me in such a way? But now he realized, I would do it again. If that's what it took to come to this state, then I would happily accept it, not as a curse, but as a blessing. Right? So it's that connection with the devotee, that's seeing how to find one's true nature, connect with God, see God in everything and all the movements of this world, find your happiness within. Whatever I need to go through for that, I'll accept it as a blessing.
Yeah, that paragraph really jumped out at me because it's one of those times where we don't understand the rain or the storm,
Right.
and we realize, oh, there's a springtime around the corner, and in the storm, I'm suffering, I'm complaining. How dare you tell me this is good for me? And when we step back and reflect at all those rainy seasons in our life, we think, oh man, I don't necessarily want to go back there, but this makes sense. This is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And some of us are in that storm right now, and it's revealed in reflection that this is exactly what I need. This is going to be what's going to take you to your next level. And the devotee sees the spiritualist. We say devotee, we say Hare Krishna. But we're talking about people who have this spiritual focus. Understand we're part of something greater. Things aren't happening randomly. Nothing is random. There's all some divine hand in everything I'm going through. And we see this is some greater plan. And it's hard to see. And I have to really zoom out and see God's plan behind all this. Another one that really grabbed me was the one right before that. Formerly, he had sought it in aims he had set before himself, right? This is where we get a lot of our excitement or a lot of our passion. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to accomplish this, and I'm going to go here.
Then I'll be happy.
I've been really like that myself. I've been really driven to do things in my life, and I'm on different missions and things like that. But unless those missions are connected with my spiritual evolution, they will always fall short.
Mm-hmm.
They will always fall. You might even hit it. You might even climb to the top and ring the bell. But it will fall short if it's not connected to your personal spiritual evolution. You will feel like, I made it to the top. Now what? Is it just to go climb different poles and ring the bell? No. It's all got to do with our spiritual growth. And I mean, it's much when we see people who are doing big things in this world, it's more attractive than a person who's doing nothing with their choices and with their life. And so we think, oh yeah, why don't you get more motivated? But we say, no. Get motivated to do something for your evolution. So formerly he had sought it in aims he set before himself that had led, but they ultimately would lead him to despair. But now he experienced a joyful consciousness that he could never be deprived of. So there is a pleasure, and we've met people like this. It doesn't appear like they're doing much in the world as far as moving and shaking, but their quietude is so damn loud that it affects everybody around them. Yeah. And sometimes they are doing big things. Sometimes they are doing very massive things in this world. I see people like Ananta and Achyuta who have quietly just done kirtan every day for Radha Govinda. Mm-hmm. Quietly. Like they've
and
never
now thousands of people are coming.
tens of thousands of people are coming to here and do kirtan, and it is like it's almost like these trees that root very, very deeply first for years, and then they grow finally after decades. They grow and give tons of fruit. And I'm watching these two. I'm so inspired by watching them because they just showed up on a regular basis to do kirtan for the deities locally, and they're incredible. And they get their whole families into it. It's very inspiring if you're a family to watch all their nephews and nieces and just sit there and sing. And they don't care if there's 3 people there or 3,000 people there.
Right,
They just
yeah,
sit and sing
and do it till late at night.
till late at night.
Right, they go
And now they're
on.
doing these tours all over India.
Yeah,
And tens of thousands of people are coming.
I
It's not
remember.
it's not something, a quick fix. When people want things quick, how can I be famous quick? It is, they put in their time and it pays off in a very beautiful way. And it's big, but it's connected to spirit, to glorifying God and their own personal evolution.
I was gonna say, I remember I was in Govardhan. It was either last year or the year before, I forget. And I heard over some loudspeaker, because like there you always hear like kirtan being played loud over,
Yeah.
loudspeakers, and it was this, it was an Indian lady singing, like like some Indian production, and she was singing Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Govinda, and normally like people that I know might borrow melodies from these
Right.
recordings, but I said I think they got that from a Achyuta Gopi actually, right? That's right. because I think she had one
Viral.
yeah, like I don't know if it was on TikTok or whatever, but she had one thing that like millions of people saw it. And
Millions
it
and
was,
millions.
and then I think they picked that up, and I said, now they're following us, in a sense, right?
And when you zoom out of that whole thing too, you realize, oh, Lord Chaitanya was right. This whole thing's mantras are gonna take over the world. This singing and this kirtan is gonna take over the world. And with social media, maybe in the 1972 you couldn't quite get that. What does that mean? How will that manifest? With social media, you can be like, oh, that can happen in a split second. It could always happen in a split second. With social media, you can see how things can blow up very quickly.
It's true. But just quickly, or maybe wrapping up with this Tolstoy thing.
Yeah.
There are people in my life, in your life, that we can recognize that no matter what they're going through, they have the ability to interpret, or I would say understand, that God's hand is working here. So there's no need for fear. There's no need for anxiety. There's no need for anger. There's no need for my working hard to kind of turn this upside down or back around. I can see, okay, God's working in my life in so many ways. I accept it. And I think this isn't the first time Tolstoy, or the only time Tolstoy's, done this with characters. I remember we've discussed the book, Father Sergius, which very briefly tells the story of this man who got disillusioned with Russian aristocracy, became a priest or like a monk in the Catholic Church, but saw similar hypocrisy there. Went off and became like a hermit, and he became famous as a hermit. This is similar, right? He went off just to become a hermit, but people began to come to him and realize, oh, he's very special. And then he developed a reputation based on that, based on his genuine spiritual qualities. And that grew and grew and grew, but he began to try to enjoy the taste in that, right? In reputation and prestige. And what it did was it ate away at his determination, and he couldn't maintain his vows as a monk and so on. And after that happened, he just felt, in a sense, completely lost. And rather than like wearing the clothes of the monk and living as a hermit and people coming and visiting him and being kind of like this figure, this spiritual figure,
Right.
he just roamed. And when he roamed, somehow by chance, he ended up in the home of a woman that he recognized, oh, this is my cousin. I remember her from so many years ago. And she was like this pitiful person, like, just like a little mouse. And she had, she was just kind of like, he saw her as pitiful. And now he saw her, and one could still see her that way, just struggling, but she was serving, always serving. And he saw now in her, rather than seeing her with pity, he saw she's actually deeply embodying these spiritual principles of humility, of kindness, of servitude. And he saw, you know what? I've been this big religious figure. I've been around many big religious figures. But this person, this simple person that nobody's even noticing, is really embodying what I was after all along. And so Father Sergius saw it in his cousin. Here we have Pierre seeing it in Platon Karataev, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's something that we can all look for. But look for people that aren't shaken, by this world, that have this steadiness of mind, and through their devotion, they can see God's hand in everything. We're working for that consciousness. That's what we're trying to find. It may be in someone famous, it may be in someone that nobody's even recognizes, but that's where spirituality is leading, And I think Tolstoy, he must have had it to some degree, and certainly he was reading about it and working towards it himself. And he was such a brilliant writer that he can convey it really beautifully in his writings.
Maybe we have to wander. Maybe we are becoming religious, institutional mouthpieces. Maybe you and I just have to just like walk
alone, together or alone.
Well, together we can, but
okay, all right.
Separate at times.
Just walk. Just doesn't matter where.
People think of us as religious, institutional.
Okay, you start. You go ahead and.
I'm sort of already wandered.
Have you? Okay.
I don't know.
So we do the podcast while we're wandering?
No, you got to just give that up.
All right.
Give it up. You can write. You can talk to people. You can hear and listen to other people.
Okay.
Anyway, that was good.
All right. Tolstoy.
Choices. I'm still like to see that series.
Yeah.
Mara says, "Watch it after Katie leaves. We'll watch it."
Okay. And I was just going to say, here we have another example of what we're reading today with people that were living high in aristocracy, and then the world changed on them by the influence of a devotee. But he shares some truths with them, and they're going to come out the other side saying, you know what? We got cursed to stand as trees for 100 years, 100 celestial years. It was worth it. We would do it again if we had to.
Sure.
To understand what we had, what we understand now.
Ryanam namaskritya naram chaivanarottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudiraya. Before reciting the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta preshva badrishu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in class in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes to the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, Text 20 and 22 combined. These two young men.
This is Narada speaking now. The curse is coming down for these naked playboys.
These two young men, Nalu Kubera and Manigriva, are by fortune the sons of a great demigod, Kubera. But because of their false prestige and madness after drinking liquor, they are so fallen that they are naked but cannot understand that they are. Therefore, because they are living like a tree, right? For a tree, trees are naked, but
they don't wear clothes,
but not really conscious. These two young men should receive the bodies of trees. That's what you want? Here, nature will arrange. This will be the proper punishment. Nonetheless, after they become trees and until they are released, by my mercy, they will have remembrance of their past sinful activities.
You're like, oh, I know why this happened.
They have to know that the entire time. Moreover, by my special favor, after the expiration of 100 years by the measurement of the demigods, now that I find hard to believe, they will be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, face to face, and thus revive their real position as devotees.
You think it's too long a period of time?
Well,
You can't
what
live
we
that
know
long?
from trees,
I see,
what I
Mr.
know
Botany,
as a botanist,
part-time.
that
Amateur.
that's a very long time, 100 celestial years. 100 years is a pretty old tree. 200, 300
If you
years,
can
very,
accept that
very
someone
old.
can give this curse, why not give it for that amount of time?
Yeah, you could always argue, like, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it make any noise? You could always have that argument.
I don't know if that
Can
has
there be
anything to do with
one tree in the forest that lived for millions of years, but no one knows about it? Sure. Good.
Okay.
I find it hard to believe. That's okay. That's okay. I don't have to believe everything. I'm okay with not knowing everything.
Nobody's accusing you of anything here, Raghunath. It's all right. Nobody's upset with you.
Well, I said that was hard to believe, and you were like, well,
And then I asked, what is it exactly that you find hard to believe? And then I gave my answer to it, and I didn't accuse you of anything.
you poke. You poke. You're a poker. The Supreme Personality of God. Where are we, Mara? Sukadeva Goswami continued, having thus spoken, the great saint Devarishi Narada returned to his ashram known as Narayan Ashram.
Narayan
Now
Ashram.
Kubera Manigriva became twin Arjuna trees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, to fulfill the truthfulness of the words of the greatest devotee, Narada, slowly went to that spot where the twin Arjuna trees were standing. Okay. Although these two young men are the sons of a very rich Kubera, and I have nothing to do with them, Devarishi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee, and therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance.
This is amazing.
It is amazing because this is why we subsist on the prayers and blessings of great souls. That's why all our actions in bhakti should not just be, well, this is going to be a cool thing. It should be, this should be pleasing to great souls.
This is my seva to them, right?
Right? Samaha sevaya vipra, right? When serving great souls, great service is done. By such service, one gains the affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. You want to become very God conscious. You want to be able to hear this message of spiritual truth. How do you develop that attraction? Serving great souls. And by serving great souls, it attracts Krishna.
You're thinking like Srila Prabhupada. I think you should read the commentary. Whenever you're ready.
This is commentary for 25. Nalkuveri Manigriva actually have nothing to do with devotional service or seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, for this is not an ordinary opportunity. It is not that because one is very rich or learned or was born in an aristocratic family or will be able to or one will be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Right? This is impossible. But in this case, because Narada Muni desired it, he desired that Nalakuvera and Manigriva see Vasudeva face to face. The Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted to fulfill the words of his very dear devotee, Narada. This is right. You get the blessings of these great souls, and it attracts Krishna. We are subsisting on those blessings. Sometimes we get a letter. A Wisdom Sages gets a letter, and it's from a very respected senior devotee. They may not be even a famous guru, but you know that these people, they're substantial devotees after decades of seva. And they'll say, hey, I listened to your podcast and I liked it. That for me, that is the gold right there, is to get these blessings of these great souls. Because it feels like, okay, we're rendering service to some great soul. If one seeks the favor of a devotee, instead of directly asking for favors from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is very easily successful. That's the trick right there. You want a trick? I got a trick for you. You get the blessings of those devotees. Don't just ask Krishna. Get the blessings of those devotees. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore recommended Vaishnava Thakur Tomara Kukura Bulia Jana Hamore, Krishna se tomara, Krishna daite para. One should desire to become like a dog in strictly following a devotee, right?
Yeah.
You'll know
I'm
about
here,
this.
I'm loyal.
You'll know about this, Kaustubha. But if in the old days of Gus, when he was a chipper young pup, if he'd be laying in the room and if I was just like sitting at my desk doing something and I would stand up, he'd be like, "We're going outside? We're going outside?" I'd be like, "No, I'm going to the sink to get a glass of water."
Can I
And I'll
help?
sit back down again. And then I like move my body another way. He's like, "What? We're going outside? We're going outside?" No, I'm just turning to the right to look for a magic marker in the desk. Okay, I'll go back down. Right. And then when you do go, he's like following right behind you.
Yeah.
And so we got to be like that with great devotees, right? A dog in strictly following a devotee. Krishna is in the hand of a devotee.
It's right in the hand.
Krishna, listen to that again, sir. Krishna is in the hand of a devotee.
Put your hand in the hand of the man, Raghunath.
Put your hand in the... I always had to like really think about that. Like, what does that mean? Put your hand in the hand of the man
who crossed the water.
Who crossed the water.
Put your hand in the hand of the man.
That's a Christian song?
Across the sea. Yes.
Who did that song?
It was big. I don't know. My mind goes to Glenn Campbell, but I don't think it was him.
Anyway, the point is, we tend to think Krishna is in the hand of a devotee. We tend to think, well, God embraces us, and God, actually,
it's right there.
The pure devotee is in the hand. Krishna is in the hand of a pure devotee. Adur labam atma bhakto, right? It is very difficult without this bhakti of the soul. It is not difficult when the soul.
It's adur labam.
It's adur labam. It's difficult by studying the Vedas. It is not difficult at all when you develop bhakti. Thus, without the favor of a devotee, one cannot directly approach Krishna. What to speak of engaging in his service? Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings, Chadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistara Payeched Keba. Unless one becomes a servant of a pure devotee, one cannot be delivered from the material condition of life. In our Gaudiya Vaishnav society, following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, our first business is to seek the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Boomba.
You know, first of all, a couple things I'd like to share about this. We saw with from the Tolstoy book, you know, it was like he was ready, he was disillusioned with materialism, but he had to meet someone, right, that could kind of fan that spark and make it really rise in him, right?
Good point.
But this is saying a bit more. This is saying that actually God is responding to the desire of that devotee. Right. And that's how we connect. And so, you know, sometimes it's said that the devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Krishna, in a sense, and I think if we go back to the verse, what does it say? Krishna is saying, now, also, you know, this is where I just would love to see this. Now that all these AI things are coming out, maybe we could see this one, right? Because Krishna says, and now Krishna's just a tiny little boy, right? How old is he here? I think he's 2 or something, 3 maybe. I don't know. He's very young. And he's very incredibly attractive, sweet looking, cute. And he's tied up to this big grinding mortar. And he says to himself, although these 2 young men are the sons of the very rich Kubera, I have nothing to do with them. Right? I have nothing. In other words, it's kind of like when you know, when your girlfriend or your boyfriend says, I'm leaving you, don't call me anymore. It's not that you wanted that to happen, but they said it and you honor it. Okay, I'm not gonna keep calling you anymore. Krishna's like, I didn't have anything to do with them. They turned away from me, right? And so I didn't have anything to do with them. But Narada, he's gotten involved, right? My devotee has gotten involved, and because Narada's gotten involved, I need to respond to that. And so he says, I have nothing to do with them. But Devarshi Narada is my very dear and affectionate devotee, and therefore, because he wanted me to come face to face with them, I must do so for their deliverance. So the mercy of Krishna follows the mercy of the devotee, This is how bhakti works. This is what we need to key in on. This is what we need to really understand. And so now you have this thing where little adorable, tender little Krishna's dragging this thing behind him and he's moving towards those trees, right? And he's like, okay, he's on a little mission, on behalf of Narada to grant mercy to these two who, in their drunken, naked state, they would have never wanted this, but now in their tree state, they're like, yes, please come. We understand now. There was no happiness in that life. And this is a blessing. We've come to understand. Similar, in a way, similar to the things that were being discussed by Tolstoy, right? That we had turned our back on God, but that God is within everything. That there's really no happiness in achieving material things, what to speak of like material decadence, that happiness is an internal thing. It's this love that we have within us. And they were ready now. And here comes Krishna crawling, following his mercy, following the mercy of Narada's mercy. And he's about to do it in this incredibly beautiful way, right? He was tied up for one purpose by Yashoda. Now he's carrying out another purpose. And it seems like a little baby shouldn't be able to do that, right? Pull down two huge trees.
Sure.
Okay, he's 3 years and 2 months old at this point.
Text 26, having thus spoken, Krishna soon entered between the two Arjuna trees, and thus the big mortar, right, the grinding mortar he was tied to which he was bound, turned crosswise and stuck between the trees. So he's caught there. He can't go any farther. The trees are growing close together, and he's trapped there. By dragging behind him with great force the wooden mortar tied to his belly, the boy Krishna uprooted the trees. How can that happen? A little crawling baby uprooted 2 gigantic trees that were 100 celestial years old. By the great strength of the Supreme Person, the 2 trees, with their trunks, leaves, branches, trembled severely and fell to the ground with a great crash. We had a big
tree fell.
Well, Jamie Step Dojo came and chopped down one of these big dead basswood trees in our property the other day.
Did it make a big sound when it hit the ground?
Yeah, and we were all standing around there. When they cut that, you got to run because sometimes you don't know where it's going to fall.
Well, you got to know how to cut it, right?
Boom! You got to know how to cut it, but still, sometimes trees are unpredictable because they can fall. They might lean one particular way. So if you're good, a pretty straight tree, you can direct it. But sometimes when they're a little wonky, because some trees are unique and individual, they can just fall, and you got to be careful, or they can hit something that could fall on you. So you got to be prepared. You got to step away. And here is a little baby. Imagine like that tree coming down. There's a little baby on the ground. Everyone's going to bug out right now. They're all going to bug out. All the cowherd people are going to bug out. There's a little baby. These 2 gigantic trees just fell. They came down. A little baby's right there. Oh my God. That's what's about to happen.
There was this witch incident. There was this tornado incident. Then there was this evil, deadly cart incident.
Going on the cart.
And
now these trees are going to fall.
Yeah.
Thereafter, in that very place where the 2 Arjuna trees had fallen, 2 great, perfect personalities. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine Jamie Step Dojo cut the tree down, and a beautiful man came out of the tree. Hello, Raghunath. I've been cursed to stand here. Thank you for releasing me, Jamie Step Dojo, from the tree. Thereafter, in that very place where the 2 Arjuna trees had fallen, 2 great personalities.
Not one, 2.
Not one, 2. Perfect personalities who appeared like fire personified came out of a tree, came out of the 2 trees. The effulgence of their beauty illuminating all directions, with bowed heads, they offered obeisances to Krishna. And with hands folded, they spoke the following words.
I would love to see a rendition of
that. I would love to see that.
Little Krishna crawling, and then these effulgent beings. Their bodies aren't made out of the same stuff our bodies are made out of.
Yeah. We should do a dramatic thing. Jamie Step Dojo play Baby Krishna. They're just crawling.
Now, now Bhagavatam is doing again what it's done many times, but now that we're in the 10th canto, these are always prayers directly to Krishna. It's framed out this whole scene, and now these two beings are going to express their deep, deep understanding of Bhakti Vedanta, right? Their deep understanding of the truths of reality in relation to Krishna directly.
O Lord Krishna, O Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna, your opulent mysticism is inconceivable. You are the supreme, original person, the cause of all causes, immediate and remote, and you are beyond this material creation. Learned Brahmins know, on the basis of Vedic statements in the Sarva Kalvam Idam Brahma, that you are everything and that this cosmic manifestation in its gross and subtle aspects is your form.
Okay,
So here's the deal. They're living as trees, doing time.
Doing time.
Right? This is what we do in the material world. We do time. And unless we get the blessings of great souls, get some container to learn and grow, like we were saying yesterday about my mom, it wasn't that she was just poor. It was poor within a container of a loving family, an ethical, religious family, that she learned lessons from that. So these guys, they're from a demigod family, and they had to do time. They got cursed, and all of a sudden they're doing time as trees, reflecting. Remember what they did wrong and reflecting. And
those instructions that Narada gave about life and
sometimes sometimes you hear about people who get out of prison and they are just like,
never again.
I'm a changed person. Never again. This is where I went wrong,
So, and you can see like within the Sanskrit is Krishna, Mahayogins, they're emotional, right? Oh, Krishna.
I would be too if I finally lost my tree body and I came out looking beautiful.
Yeah, and they have these incredible. Oh, you master of all mysticism, and now this is also real important to take into consideration here. That this is again what Vyasadeva is doing so brilliantly is he has sweet little Krishna, right? Oh, aren't these little this can't be serious Vedanta. These are little stories about little babies crawling around doing things. No. Right? These elevated beings who had received the special blessing of Narada, they're seeing the world in a different way now. And they're understanding truth and they're understanding Vedanta in a different way. So they're understanding that all this language here, you are the original person. You are the cause of all causes, immediate and remote. Right? You're beyond the material creation, right? Learned Brahmanas know that you are everything, and that and Srila Prabhupada, he's trying to spell that out for us a little bit more. He says, on the basis of the Vedic statement, Sarva Kal Vidam Brahma, right? There's a statement in the Vedic literature, in the Upanishads, that says Sarva Kal Vidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. There's nothing that's not Brahman. Now, what does that mean? It's a very tricky question. Like, how do you explain it? Because the impersonalists, the way that they explain it is they say that Brahman is truth. Brahman is all that exists, and Brahman has no attributes. It doesn't have a form. It doesn't, it doesn't do things in this world. It doesn't have qualities like the forms and the people of this world have, because those are all temporary and cause suffering. When you get up to the level of the Supreme, it has, there is none of that. And then you realize that all form and all qualities, it was all illusion. And Sarva Kal Vidam Brahma, all there is Brahman. That means that God can't be a person, that our individuality is illusory, that this world doesn't exist. It's a hard pill to swallow, and it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. The Vaishnavas have another way of explaining Sarva Kal Vidam Brahma. They say that everything is the energy of the Parabrahman, which is Sri Krishna. And these now enlightened beings get it. And so, in one sense, if you looked at them, they are like in adult celestial bodies. And they're looking at a little boy on the ground that is so much such a little child that he's actually been tied up right? Like his mother actually had to tie him up for being naughty. That's what we're seeing as a naughty boy tied up.
Mm.
And these celestial beings with incredible knowledge, and their bodies aren't normal. They're effulgent. What did it say that they had this effulgence like fire? These enlightened beings are saying, everything that is talked about in the Vedas, that's this little boy right here, and we get it now, right? We get. Narada understood it. We didn't understand it. Now we understand it. Sarva Kalvidam Brahma. How do we understand that? That this one part of this supreme spiritual energy, it manifests in all different kind of ways. It transforms into other types of energy, including this world that we're in, including our bodies, including the universe. It all exists within him. It comes out from him. He can withdraw it. He can transform it. He can do all. It's all Sarva Kalvidam Brahma. It's all his energy. There's nothing outside his energy. Therefore, Sarva Kalvidam Brahma. Two different ways of understanding it, but this is the one that Vyasadeva wanted us to get, and that's why he's framing out these stories for us and giving us these prayers.
Hug a tree, Kaustubha. You never know who's inside.
All right.
You want that as a takeaway?
That's a good takeaway.
Oh, we're out.
You asked for a takeaway on the board, so I'm saying that's a good one. Hug a tree, you never know who's inside.
All right.
All right, you got
Could be
takeaways, Mara?
I have some good takeaways today.
Do you?
Yep. Happiness lies within the self despite external circumstances.
That's right.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
It's called, in our Gita thing that we're doing, in the Gita Collective, we're reading the Gita together. I quoted one verse from the 5th chapter. I think it's 520 perhaps. And it's saying that, Krishna is describing someone that really understands things as they are, and a spiritually advanced person. And he says, Anta Sukha, they have happiness that's within. Then he says, Anta something else. I forget what it was. And then he said, Anta Jyoti, that like they're lit up from within. Right? This is the person that's not searching for things that are external, but they're lit up from within. That their happiness, I think it's Anta Ramataha, that their happiness is within. Anta Sukha, Anta Ramata, and then Anta Jyoti. They're all lit up from within. That's where this leads.
Life is God. Love life to love God.
How about this for little Krishna? Come on, baby. Light my fire.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Come on, baby.
He's pleased with himself, Mara.
He's very, yeah. Back to our takeaways.
That was a good one, Raghunath. That was a good one.
Yes. Accept whatever connects you with God as a blessing.
That's right.
Sure.
There's a divine plan behind our suffering.
Oh,
Curses,
we hear
right?
this every day, but that's a tough one.
Thank God for those winter stormy seasons.
Oh, thank God. Ouch.
Your goals need to be connected to your spiritual evolution.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
We subsist on the prayers and blessings of great souls.
Yes.
Be like a puppy following the great devotee.
Where are we going? Where are we going? Everybody who's got a dog knows that.
God responds to the desires of the devotee.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're doing time here, learning lessons and reforming, hopefully.
Hopefully. Hopefully is the key word there.
And
Yeah.
hug a tree. You never know who's inside.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hey, it's the last call for my India pilgrimage. We're wrapping up registration this weekend. If you're interested, reach out to me, Raghunath.yoga. And remember, if you're interested in going to India with me and Kaustubha in January for the wisdom training, jump on that. You got to go to wisdomofthesages.com to register for that one.
Okay.
Pilgrimage is Raghunath.yoga. Wisdom of the Sages retreat is wisdomofthesages.com. Tonight, Sweet Baby Krishna, 8 o'clock. And Kaustubha's doing what? Chaitanya Charitamrita at
5:30.
Friday, 5:30.
One of the same.
Oh, we're doing our Gita Collective thing on Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
Oh,
live
yeah,
Zoom.
I saw that. If
Yeah.
people have questions,
The questions
we
and
live Zoom meeting, we'll answer your questions.
Well, all right. Thanks, everybody. Wisdom of the Sages is a community-supported podcast. If you like what we're doing, you go to wisdomofthesages.com. Leave a maple syrup contribution of your every
I got my
every
maple syrup.
month we get maple syrup. That's okay. You can leave that. That's also a currency.